Now, a looming health crisis and a disaster is awaiting residents of Tema, heavy industrial area within the Tema metropolis following the encroachment of a wetland that serves as a major sewer system for the area by unidentified developers. An earlier report filed by ChannelOne, Fauzuma Saudu, showed concrete walls have been erected directly over waste pipelines that convey sewage into the Chemu Lagoon, effectively obstructing the natural flow of waste. We have been joined on the phone line by the Mayor of Tema, Ibi Bright, to speak on this particular issue. Good evening, madam. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Siti. Good evening to you and all your listeners and viewers.
Have you become aware of construction activities on this wetland that is close to the Tema Oil Company?
Yes, we are. We were made aware of this a few days ago when some companies reached out to us about the construction of a drain near their facilities that was causing distress to their sewage system. And so we imagined that this was a drain. And so I sent some officers of the assembly to go and check what was going on. At first, they assumed that it was the assembly because we are the only ones with a mandate to carry out such activity. But I think that once they approached those doing the construction, to complain about the effect it was having, they realized that it wasn't the assembly after all. So we went, over there, and unfortunately, it wasn't just construction of a drain, but reclamation of the wetland that was feeding into the Chemu Lagoon. And unfortunately, this is the lowest area in that portion of the industrial area, which basically all our sewage infrastructure from the pipes into the chambers and everything feeds into this particular spot. And also all the water, this holds the water and then, takes it through the degradation system before it feeds into the lagoon. And so, unfortunately, the land there was being reclaimed. But you see, the sad thing is that this is a daily reality in Tema. When the last shot that we took of that particular area was 2 months ago, and this is an area that has laid undisturbed since Tema was built. But every single day, places like this are taken up by unbridled greed that does apply no sense. This is a distressing situation that is characteristic of all of the activity that's going on all over the city, and we can barely keep up with it. Unfortunately, yes, sorry.
Please end.
Pardon?
Okay, so clearly the assembly wasn't consulted and wasn't notified before any development commenced on this site. But can you confirm whether there was any permit issued by the TMA for this construction?
Definitely not. I mean, that is the whole. This is the whole idea behind the permitting. It's for us to be able to determine if that area is safe for what kind of development. And this is why the most dangerous thing is to have development uncontrolled or development permitted by the authority that is not mandated to do so. So this is the problem. We've run out of, a proper land in Tema. And so most of what is going on as new land is reclamation. And unfortunately, in spite of the fact that the mandate is vested in the assembly to be the sole spatial planning and development agent, we have these duties duplicated illegally by other agencies. And this is a challenge that we're trying to fight, but it's very complicated. In any case, the laws are there. And so immediately we started to prepare our position by law so that we can serve the perpetrators. Unfortunately, because we went on site to inspect construction of a gutter, and because we didn't even understand what was going on, by the time we realized the gravity of the crime, then there's nobody there to hold immediately. But we're going into our investigations to identify who this developer is, who this individual reclaiming the land, because there have been many crimes committed on this particular spot. And so we're taking the legal route, which must be also one of the first spots of engagement in this kind of situation.
All right, so how soon can residents expect concrete action to reverse this damage that has been done?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know how we reverse the damage that has been done. This is, I mean, how do you begin to excavate over 1.5 meters of filling, compacted filling? I mean, how do you recover? I mean, the challenge that we face right now is that the kind of material used to construct this drainage was never meant to withstand this kind of pressure. And so by the time we go through any of these activities, we've already messed everything up. If you go to the site already, the sewage is bubbling up and pouring into, so it is already a disaster. It is already a disaster, and that is why I'm saying that the usual methods of cease and desist, stop work, and I mean, we're gonna, just go there and say stop. It's not going to do it in this case. This is a crime against the city in the worst way possible. This is not just about taking land illegally. It is about destroying the whole infrastructure of the city and plunging most of our industrial area into crisis. Essentially, what this person has done is to make the rest of the industrial area a lagoon. It's unconscionable, and I mean, it's beyond sad, but I think that it's clear what we must do. And I want to use this opportunity to beg the public to understand, just how desperate the situation in Tema is right now. The Ramsar site that everybody is on and on about is facing the same challenge, because the closer you are to the regularly built up areas, the more likely you are sitting on our sewage infrastructure. And so the sewage crisis in Tema is not only about old pipes and infrastructure that needs to be replaced, but infrastructure that is distressed because we lost our discipline a long time ago. So
aside the legal route that you are going to use, what other measures are you going to put in place to ensure that this Ramsar site is protected?
Well, this particular site is not a Ramsar site, but the protection can only be legal. I mean, as a first point of call, because at this point, the damage has gone beyond education. We're going to ramp up in 2026 with finally being able to include a lot of education, stakeholder engagement, and public engagement in our action plans. And so we're going to engage the public on just what this kind of behavior can portend for the future of all of us. It's not just an issue of we don't want you to do it. It's an issue of we can't afford for you to do it. Not even you can afford to do this. But I think that most importantly, this one is beyond a negotiation that doesn't involve any punitive measures. It must. The full weight of the law must be carried out, and by us, the assembly, leading that. Otherwise, the industries have promised me that they will take action. And so we as a government are not going to sit down and be sued by our citizens. That is too costly. We must do our job. And that is it. The laws are there, forged by hardworking people, experienced people, and people who do care about this nation. The only duty we have is to enforce it. So then there's no excuse that, yes, we have limited manpower, we can't monitor every space, and we're dependent to a large extent on just common sense and, patriotism from people. But still, we must enforce the law, and that is where we have failed up until now.
All right, thank you so much for your time. That was E.P. Bright, who is the mayor of Tema, speaking to us. They are still